show it to be 1 o'clock so we can get started with this. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Uh, this is hopefully our year for this thing to finally pop. And I hear a lot of different opinions about what's going on. I do believe that we are about to see another change in the value of the dinar over there. I believe it's going to go to 1650 from everything that I'm hearing, which is not a bad thing. Uh, I believe this is their steps to get their dinar off the street, get people to cash it in, and we'll just have to play it out and see what happens. I don't think it's going to be terribly long before we see another change with it happening this quick from just going from the 1198 to the 1460, and just in no time they're going to 1660. I think they're pushing this to go as fast as they can with whatever it is they are doing. So we'll just have to play it by ear and see. As far as Willard Enterprises, we've got what you see on the site, and I've gotten several requests to update. There's been nothing to update since they haven't been trading since the 24th, and I believe it's going to be Monday before they are back in session. My brokers have informed me they have received the wires, so we have 56,000 in wires that haven't been put into the trading account yet, and that should happen either tomorrow or Monday, and then they'll continue with my purchase order that I put in with them about 2 weeks ago. And as you know, that once they fill that order, we should have 1,750,000,000 shares. And I saw a comment where we're going to hit 200 billion. It's going to take a while because I want to concentrate on two stocks. I want to concentrate on Asia Cell, TASC, and then Iraqi Beverage, IBSD. And the reason for that is I want to maximize what we as a group get out of it in dividends. And they have consistently paid, Asia Cell has paid over 13% for the past 3 years, and Iraqi Beverage has paid 15% consistently for a few years. So those are the two biggest dividend stocks that we could even wish to have. So we're going to continue to grow those two, and they're slower to raise and give us a higher stock count. I'm not worried about hitting 2 billion. It'd be nice if we do, because that means we've got a lot of Asia Cell and a lot of Iraqi Beverage. So what we want to do is, rather than look at the numbers, we want to look at the quality of the stocks that we have. In saying that, you'll notice that we will hit 500 million on the 3 bank stocks. And once this change in value happens, what we should be able to do with the rise in the bank stocks, if they do increase in value, and let's say they're worth 1-to-1 and they're worth $1 a share, we can turn around and take a couple of times a year. We could take 100 million of those shares, because they've not just changed from the value of the dinar, but the stocks themselves have increased. We could take 100 million shares. If they're at $1 a share, that's $100 million we could take out and divide among the blocks. So it could be a good payday 1 or 2 times a year. And while we're waiting on dividends on the good returns from Asia Cell and Iraqi Beverage, they should have their General Assembly meeting on those two in April. We'll see if it holds true. Normally that is the time, but last year, it didn't happen because of the pandemic. They delayed everything, but their quarters remained the same. Their fiscal year will end March 31st. 31st, yeah. And they will have a General Assembly meeting, which is a stockholder or shareholder meeting, in April. They will announce the dividends, and then they will pay out into May or sometime into June. So that would be probably our first dividend payout, provided that the value has changed. If that is the case, then we wouldn't have a payout likely until June. So even though there is a rate change, does not mean we're automatically going to have money coming into us. We have to wait until they pay out dividends. Could be 3 months, could be 4 or 5 months. We just don't know for sure. And we don't know how things are going to change over there once they revalue everything. We don't know how these stocks are going to affect everything that we're expecting. So we've got time. I've been asked many, many times that they want to set up their accounts and be ready to get paid. We have time for that. We have plenty of time. What will happen once this change in the rate does happen? I will have a few people lined up that will immediately go to work, setting everything up, contacting every member that we have, every investor, and making sure they understand what to do, how to do it, how to get their accounts set up so that it's a smooth transition and we're ready. When we get that first dividend payment, we'll be ready to get the funds out to you. It should be within a matter of days. I'm talking 3, maybe 4 days. I'm going to give us an extra day or two in there as a cushion. It should be almost instant from the time they notify us until they've sent us the funds and wired them into our US account. At that point, all we have to do is take that figure divided by the blocks and get a spreadsheet done, apply it to our pay processor, and boom, it's done. So 3 or 4 days max from the time we get our first dividends. And then that will happen each time we get dividends in. So you may get paid 4 or 5 times a year. You may get paid 6 or 8 times a year. We simply don't know exactly when you'll get paid, how often you'll get paid. It depends on when we are receiving the dividends. So I hope that clears. I get a lot of questions on all that. We'll have to play it by ear and see exactly what process we need to take according to how they're going to do things. This is all new to us. After this first year, we'll have a pretty good idea of what we can expect each year after that. But it's this first year that I can't really answer too many questions because I'm just not sure. So just you have to bear with us, and I will keep you posted every step of the way. Like I said, we've got another 56,000 in cash that'll be converted to dinar, and they will start purchasing more shares. And I expect there to be a continual growth in what we have until the rate change happens. I'm trying to think of something else that I could address here. I guess what I want to do is open it up. If anybody has any questions, I would be happy to try to answer them for you. Feel free to unmute yourself and just start asking any questions that you might have. Do we have anybody here that has been waiting to ask me anything? I'll answer it to the best of my ability.
I guess I have one. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Maybe I missed it, but can you explain exactly what happened between Willard and Wise?
I really would kind of like to avoid any talk about that. It was I could say it was a massive difference of opinion, and I just couldn't go down a road that I didn't trust or believe in. And it got a little bit ugly, but we are completely separate. He never had, other than suggesting that I start this business, that's the only tie to this business. Anything else is strictly made up. There's no ownership to dispute. There's nothing that affects us as our business in any way whatsoever. He's going his way and I'm going mine, and that's where I'd like to leave it. I wish him the best.
Okay, that's not a problem. So then would you be, I guess then for those of us that have invested in the office over in Iraq, we would just have to contact Wise to figure out how we would stay in contact regarding that, correct?
Correct. Yes. That whole thing was his baby, so to speak. And I got heavily involved just trying to help him talk about it. So, and I know that on a lot of the videos, which are no longer available, but on the videos, it sounded like I had a big part to play in that. And I really didn't, other than helping him discuss it. So
Okay.
anything to do with the office, there are several people that are in both groups. Uh, as far as I know, nothing will change whatsoever in either group.
Okay. That's fine.
I don't think that I can't. I'm not out to be vindictive. I'm not out to hurt him in any way. So I'm just so thankful for a new year and a new lease on life. And I get to do my thing. He gets to do his.
Okay. That's perfect. One more thing. So, well, once things do change and we're able to, get to where we want to be, what I personally am planning to do is I have some dinar in actual dollar bills. I want to utilize some of that to be able to open up my trust. And I understand with the trust, it takes a few months typically to get it completed. And as you noted earlier, it'll take some time before we actually see some of these returns. Do you feel in the amount of time it would take to set up a trust, I'd be able to provide you with my W-9 information and still fit within the timeline?
I think you will. In fact, I just was speaking to a gentleman yesterday. I am also going to go ahead and get my trust started. Uh, there should be plenty of time. If there is not, and I say, okay, I'm about to pay out dividends, we got this X amount of money coming over. What I'm going to allow is for you to contact us and say, hey, don't pay me yet. I'm in the process of getting this trust done. It's not to where I can accept funds yet. So please just hold off paying me and let me get this set up. Or we can pay you, we can 1099 you as an individual, and then you can always change it to a trust. So you'll have some options, and we're going to work with a lot of people because these trusts are not cheap. And
Right.
a lot of people would rather buy blocks than worry about the trust. They'll do the trust after they cash in a little dinar to pay for it.
Right.
And that's kind of what I was going to do. And with everything that's taken place, I felt the need to go ahead and get my trust done for my protection. So I'm going to be one of the few that get a jump on this. A lot of people already have trusts. So we're going to be working with everybody. Everybody's going to have a unique situation that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I'll have a team behind me that can easily work with everybody. And it's not my goal at all to make this a hardship for anybody. So if you tell me, I understand this, it's going to be probably another month and a half before I can accept funds, we'll hold off sending you payment on that. We'll make sure everything that you're doing is straightened out. You're not going to miss out by any
Right.
stretch. So if you want us to hold up because of a timing issue, then we can do that. Yeah. If you want to get the dividends initially that may be coming out and you're still not done, we go ahead and put them in your account. You would personally get a 1099. We'll change over to a trust, and then that 1099 would then go to the trust. So you may get 2 1099s this year if you go that route.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
We're going to make it as easy for everybody as possible.
Good. Thank you.
You bet. Anyone else have any questions that I?
Oh, Dad, you just
Hello, Andy?
went out.
Yes.
Hey, I just want to know, like, is Bethany gonna be part of this, or are we have a new news hound, or are we just gonna kind of scratch all that, or?
I am working with someone else right now. We're gonna have a little talk this next week about possibly doing some news videos. There's so many places you can get the news.
Yeah.
That it's almost distracting for me, but I know y'all want to be informed, and I just don't want to exaggerate any news, or I don't want to make you feel like, well, this is really saying this. So if your affairs in order, I want to get past all that. I could give you the news, but I think what I was trying to get across in the later videos was that it seems like everybody cherry picks,
Right.
only accepts what is positive for them.
Right.
So, and I just couldn't keep going that route. So
Mhm.
I can present it and let you think what you want to about it. I don't know that I'll give much of an opinion on it,
Right.
because I may read it one way, you read it another. You
Right.
think Andy's an idiot. This is what it really says. So we can present the news, but as you know, so much of it is so biased already
Right.
and
Mhm.
misleading purposely a lot of times. So you don't
Right.
know what to believe, what not to believe. But yeah, I'm going to do something, but I just don't know what yet. But
Okay.
I want it to be even kiltered.
Right. Also, too, I was wondering if you need any other help, because I'd be willing to help in any way I can. I've been part of both the groups, but it is what it is. But I kind of want to see if you need any help, because I know you're a one-man show, and I know you probably need some sort of help, whether it's making calls or whatever you need.
Right.
Kind of wanted to help out if you need
Yeah,
it.
I've actually got a lot of extra time now. So
Okay.
that was one of the biggest blessings out of all this. Yeah, until it actually happens, I think
Okay.
that's when we're going to really be scooting and shuffling and trying to get everything done in a hurry, because we don't want to miss out
Right.
getting the dividends as soon as we can get them, of course. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll have an office here locally, and I've already got at least 3 people that I plan to hire.
Oh,
Uh,
great.
I haven't convinced them all yet, but but yeah, I'll have them, and then of course we'll hire whoever else we need to make it as smooth a transition as possible. But yeah, right now I'm pretty much caught up. So I
Okay, great.
thank y'all very much. I've had several people offer, and it's hard to know what I can shuffle to someone to
Mm-hmm.
where I'm not, instead of rather talking to this person, I'm telling this person what to tell that person. So it's hard
Right.
to figure out where it is that I can apply the help and where
Hmm.
it actually saved me the time. But yeah, right now everything is great.
Okay, great, great. Well, that'll be it for me.
Thank you so much. I forgot to mention the I think somebody asked about it earlier, the 100,000 dinar giveaway. Uh, I don't know if I could even explain it right, but I need a couple of, possibly 3 more days. What it is I would take a piece of paper, as everybody would be, just cut these up, and I've got thousands of them here. But as people were buying blocks, if you bought blocks, you got 3 per block, 3 entries. So I would write their investor number on 9 pieces of paper, or 60 if they bought 20 blocks. And it was getting so hectic that I had to find a stopping point. Okay, so from here I need to, okay, I'll get to them. I'll get to them. And it got so busy in December, and we sold a few thousand blocks. So and then I have to check each one to give the refer five sheets or 5 entries into it. And it just got way behind. So I have to play catch up, make sure everybody's entered correctly. Everybody that just sent an email, I want dinar, those are all done. And it's done through I'm probably half to 3/4 done with the people that bought blocks. Then I have to go back and do the people that referred. So I let myself get way behind on that, but hopefully I'll get that done, and I don't know if it'll be this or just do some sort of video where we do the drawing, and I don't know that I can do it live, but I can do it where you'll see that there's nothing fixed about it or anything else. So hopefully that's coming soon. And all right,
Hey,
any
Andy.
questions?
Andy,
Yes, sir.
I was monitoring the chat, and you have a question in the chat from Beverly.
Okay. Do I have a backup in case of emergency now that I'm on my own? actually, I'm going to have 3 backups. I am waiting for some of the paperwork to get to me to give them the authority in the event something happens. But yes, I do have 3 people that would step up to make sure that in the event something, I'm incapacitated or past, that the group still continues to move on. I don't know. I'm giving the initial person the option. If something happens to me prior to a rate change, I'm leaving it entirely up to them, because I don't want somebody doing this if they can't handle it. But I've been working with them on how everything works. So it will be up to them if they continue to sell blocks or continue to accept new members. If it's going to be up to them. If not, they'll close it off, but everything that's there will stay there. Everything will continue on as it is. So I've got my initial person, and I have a backup to that person and a backup to that person. And they know that should something happen and they have to step up and take over, that they need to make sure that that line progresses, so there's never a time where there's any doubt in what's going to take place. This Willard Enterprises will be in a trust very shortly, and it will be the beneficiaries of the trust as well that will be able to take over. It's all going to be, I'm also getting an attorney to finalize everything the way I've got it set up, but we are protected. I don't know how to, I can't really convince you other than just telling you that I have already addressed this issue. Okay, the members, I believe there are 500, I want to say 552, within 1 or 2 of that. So, and the shares are not quite at 1,750,000,000. That is my standing order. I'll get 500 million of the 3 bank stocks each, and then we're going to go to 50 million on Asia Cell, 100 million on the other 2, Iraqi Beverage and Al Mansour Pharmaceutical, I believe. So we're going to 100 million on both of those, 50 million Asia Cell, 500 million on the 3 bank stocks. And once we get to that point, I'll work with the brokers on either we'll continue with Asia Cell and Iraqi Beverage, or we'll see if there is another substantial dividend stock that we could go ahead and start investing in as well. And that would just give us another payday rather than depending on those 6 that we have now. There are just, I think there's 102 companies in the Iraqi Stock Exchange, and there are not that many that pay dividends. So with all this going on, we don't know. I've talked to my brokers about which ones that they thought would pay the biggest dividends, or which ones may grow after a rate change, which ones are poised to grow beyond that. And I haven't gotten a response. That just happened in the last couple of days. So I'm trying to stay on top of which ones that we need to be grabbing up, because we don't know when this is going to pop. So I'm going to have a game plan ready either way. But right now, yeah, thank you, Roselle. That's my goal right now, is to get those built up, as you see in the chat. So let's see. The other group, I don't think there's any issue with the other group. I don't think you have to worry. I don't think George is a con man. I think we just did not see. He saw things differently. We'll just leave it at that. We just couldn't agree, and it was progressively getting worse. So it was just time to cut the ties. I just don't want to be responsible. I don't know how many remember, it's where I bought my dinar. What is it? Sterling Currency Group. Some of those people went to jail. Terry K. Some of you, I'm sure, have been in it long enough. You remember some of these names. Reams, or I can't think of his name. But we're in a spot that if we make it sound like something that it's not, it looks like I'm enticing you to buy more blocks. And that's a big no-no. It's illegal. I can go to jail for that. And I just wasn't in a position to where I was going to pump. I'm not concerned. I want people to be blessed by this. I don't think I should have to sell you to buy blocks or to get into this group. If you want to get into it, I'm happy for you. But if I have to sell you on it, then you are not sure of the value of getting into this group. And I want people that already know that are in the same mindset that this thing is going to be super beneficial for us. If they aren't, if they have to question that, I don't want to have to push them over, because that becomes me selling the hype, and I'm not going to sell hype. And I think that was something that was possibly happening, and I just couldn't be a part of it. So I don't want to speak ill of George. I just we just had to go our separate ways, and it's just like I've said, nothing that has happened in any way affects us. Doesn't affect our stocks. Doesn't affect where we are. I've already spoken to our brokers, and any differences between George and I are our differences. They are not treating either one of us any different than they ever have. They naturally would appreciate both of our business, and they're not going to let one interfere with the other. So all is good on the broker front, and we're continuing as normal. So I'm trying to think of something else I could possibly let you know about. I tell you, I've talked to a trust guy on this Masters Trust, somebody different. And I believe that for your protection and for some for tax purposes, that trusts could be beneficial depending on the amount of money we're talking about. And there are all kinds of advantages to owning a trust. I do have a trust Q&A, I think, listed on the site. Definitely take a look at that and see. I don't want to get into answering questions because I'm not a trust expert. I have a lot of questions for him, and my situation may not be the same as yours as far as the advantages to having a trust. So you would need to speak with someone, and I'll talk to him again. If not before, I'll talk to him on Monday, and I'll ask him if he's interested in just possibly answering a lot of questions, and I'll give out his number. And if he's okay with that, you can address any concerns you have about a trust, the advantages and disadvantages and everything else with him. So if he's okay with that, then if he gets business out of it, that's great. One thing I won't do is try to promote somebody for my personal benefit. I'm not going to ask this guy, hey, I could get you 10 more clients. Are you going to give me a break? I'll just pay what he charges. And I don't have an obligation to try to push his specific trust or him personally. So any information I give you is going to come from what I benefit as far as my knowledge, but it's not going to be coerced. So I'm not going to be beholden to anybody. So know that if I say, this trust is really working for me, it's really working for me. It's not because I got an advantage over trying to sell you on something. So anything and everything that I do, I'm going to try to be as upfront and honest. Some people tell me I give you way too much information. It's your money too. Just like it's my money, it's everybody's money. Right now we have over $750,000 sent to Iraq, sent to my broker. That's not my money. A part of it is, but most of it is not. It's everybody's money. So you have as big an interest in anything that I know, you should know. I may not be 100% up to date on some figures or something that I give you, but I'm not afraid to put anything out there for you. We all have a right to know everything about what you're invested in. So, you know, just know that I'm not going to hide anything from you. I'm not going to be sneaky about anything, and we'll just take it from there. Okay. It's, no, the one that we did a trust call on here a couple of months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was, that guy, I don't even know him, never spoke to him before he was on the phone. That was through another member. And I understood the concept between, or the concept of contact this one guy. He'll have a questionnaire before you move on to this guy, because he didn't want to be bombarded with phone calls and stuff. But if I'm going to deal with a trust person, I'm going to deal with them. It's none of anybody, a third party's business, what I do or how I do it or what I might want to do or might not want to do before I can get to the guy who did the trusts. And that's why I pulled his information off of the site. I felt really uncomfortable that you had to go through a third person to get to the guy you're wanting. If he's not comfortable enough to hire somebody, you know, he's charging $15,000 for trusts, you know, and it's basically all paperwork. So it's not like he's got to be out a lot of expense. If that's the case, then hire somebody for $8 or $10 an hour if you have to, and let them answer some of the basics. You know, they could work for you to answer basic questions, but to have to field your calls through a third party, they don't need my information. So I just got online and hunted somebody else and found them, and that also does a master's trust, that actually called me back last night on New Year's Day. So that's customer service. And I'm working with him. There were some things that he's got to get answered for me before I feel comfortable moving on. And if I do give this guy's number, just know that I'm giving it because I believe in him and I trust in him as well as I could anybody, I guess. And but it's not because I've been paid to do so. And I get that a lot of people can't do this until after the RV. I completely get it. That's what I was going to do, is wait until after. But with this company, I want this company to be in the trust. And I just don't know the legal ramifications of not getting it set up now. So I don't want anything to hurt the process of me getting this into the trust. So I was told before that it's best to get it done before your windfall. And now I sort of see some of the reasoning behind it. I'm good, Jenny. I know a lot of people need to be reassured that things are happening over there. And that's why I kind of want to reassure everybody that we're in a good spot. And, but yeah, I'm definitely not going to hype it up for anybody. The questions you would ask yeah, it's hard because everybody's situation is different. I just wanted to know that the protection side of it, and you'll hear that you can save taxes, you don't pay taxes and all that. It's not necessarily true. You might defer taxes, what you can and can't put into a trust, what you should and shouldn't put into a trust, and just let whatever the answers that they're giving you, just come up with how is it advantageous? How is a trust advantageous for you? Knowing you can discuss your personal financial business with them and get some feedback. But there's no point in getting a trust if you don't see a benefit in having that trust. So you would have to know that it's more about protection. And I used to think it was mostly to prevent somebody from being able to sue you. They could still sue you, but if everything is in a trust, it makes it a little tougher. If you don't own anything, sue away. So, but I thought, well, I'm not going to do anything that I would get sued over. And then over the last week, I've realized that, people can sue you for anything, right or wrong. And you don't know what those 12 people or 6 or 12 people are going to hear. Just in the past week, I've managed to understand that certain people can say certain things, and it's just like, wow, how did that get twisted to be this way? So yeah, you can be sued for anything and any reason, and people can just make stuff up out of their head, and people will believe them. So yeah, I just want to protect myself. So I realize that is important to do. And for me, the protection is now the center focus on my getting this trust. Roselle, we talk all the time, so maybe can you think of anything that we've discussed recently that may be of value to the other members? All right. Hey, Christopher.
No, not at this time. I think you covered everything.
Go ahead, Christopher.
Oh, I thought I was just listening. I didn't even know you could hear me.
Your name popped up on my screen, so I thought maybe you had a question.
I do, but I just drew a blank right now.
No problem at all. I get that. All right.
Okay, real quick. Do you have any knowledge of what's going on with the office?
I do not. That idea started just a week or so after I started this business back in August. And it was just an idea George had. He said he's going to sell blocks at $100 a block. And we initially started out, him and I discussing this, was going to be, you got a extra percent or something. And if for everything that you invested in after, buying into the office, you're just helping support getting the office started, right? There's never going to be a dime payback for that. And you're essentially just saying, here, yeah, I believe in you. Here's $100, or 500 in some cases. Here's 3,000. So a lot of people gave various amounts. In talking with George, I said, there's nothing in writing. There's no rhyme or reason to what you're planning. There's nothing. There's nothing out here on paper. There's no agreement. There's no nothing. He thought his word should be good enough. And I said, so what are they getting? Well, they'll get a percent. We'll give them a percent for every block. So if you got 10 blocks, you gave $1,000, then you got 10% additional bonus over the money you made from being invested in one of the projects or all. You could, I said, well, okay, but if you're trying to get $60,000, $80,000, whatever it was, then that's 6,000, 8,000 blocks. Okay, you open up a certain offer over here. We're going to do this hotel. We're going to invest or build this hotel, and we want 50 million. Well, that could be 5 or 6 people. It could be 10 people, 20 people that jump into that. You may not be one of those. So you've given $100 in hopes that you get, or $1,000 in hopes that you get 10% additional bonus. Well, you're not in that hotel because you missed the boat on it. He got everybody to pony up. So you don't get 10% of anything because you're not in that office deal. Another deal comes along, you miss out, another deal. So I finally told him, I said, it's not going to be fair. You got to have this where it's fair to everybody, because there may be every intent to get in on something. They just didn't time it right. So we went with holding on every venture out there, 10% comes off the top that's made. I mean, that's 10% of what he gets, because initially 25% of everything that is made over there goes to the guy over there. So there's only 75% left that you're going to get 10% of. I don't think that's ever been mentioned, but there were just too many things that I didn't really like about it. But that 10% off the top of what crumbs you get after they take their chunk over there, then that would be distributed between everybody, whether you got in one group, one venture, 10 ventures, it didn't matter. You're going to get that percentage, plus you're also going to get your portion of the 10% of all of them, or none of them if there's never any actual venture taken up. So, there's nothing in writing to guarantee that certain investments are going to be there or that anything is going to happen or take place. So, is your $100 safe? George isn't trying to rip you off. I don't believe that for a second, but will it ever make you anything? I don't know. I don't like that nothing was ever put in writing. That was one of the problems that we had. Nothing is ever put in writing. So I'm done with the office. I don't have anything to do with it. If I'm sure he's getting me out of everything, so I'm sure he'll refund me that as well. But I personally am not having anything to do with it. I'm doing 100% separation from him and his company.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
W-9 and the beneficiary forms.
Okay, the W-9s, beneficiary is 100% optional. If you don't fill one out, you're basically giving back to the group. It'll just be absorbed, those blocks. So let's say you got 20 blocks and you never filled out a beneficiary. We had 10,000 blocks. You didn't fill out a beneficiary. Something happens to you, you're gone. Well, according to the contract, you're just forfeiting those 20 blocks. So now instead of everything being divided by 10,000, it would be being divided by 99.80. So it's wise to have a beneficiary, but it's not a requirement. The W-9, if you know that you're going to change it to a business or a trust, I'm not in a hurry for those. If you want to go ahead and get it out of the way, great. But if you know you're going to change, wait until that change happens and then get us. There's no point in doing it twice. You'll have time, and we will be reaching out once the dinar revalues. Before we get dividend payouts, everybody will be contacted to make sure everything is in place and it's as you want it. So at that time, we'll remind you that we don't have a W-9 yet. You can say, well, I'm working with a lawyer on this trust, and as soon as all that's done, then I'll get a W-9 to you. The only thing I can assure you is that without a W-9 in place with us, you would not collect dividends until you're not losing the money. They would just be held until we get the W-9 from you. So not filling out a W-9 isn't going to cost you anything, but it may delay just a hair. And I think once, if you haven't turned one in, when you got dividends sitting here waiting for you, you're going to get one turned in. So, but I'm in no hurry. Those are not a requirement initially. So it's completely up to you. George, Princess are supposedly working with an attorney to get an agreement, which is fine. I mean, I have no issue with what he's doing or when he does it or how he does it, because I'm not affiliated with him anymore. And you would have to contact him directly if you wanted your money back on the office. I don't think he would keep anybody from getting out. He's in that part. He's like me. If you don't want to be in it, don't be in it, you know, and it's the same as my group. I want people that are ready to be blessed with this when it happens. If you don't want to be, you know, who am I to keep you forced to stay in it? So no, I don't think you'll have any trouble getting anything back. You know, I don't think it was ever a non-refundable venture because there's nothing in writing. So how could there be no refund when there was never any agreement to start with? So I would just contact him. You know, I'm not trying to discourage people from being a part of that office. I am just separating from him. That's it. You know, guys, I don't think George is out to do you harm in any way. I'm not going to speak ill of him. We just didn't see eye to eye. So other than that, I'm separating, and that's all there is to that. Thank you, Claudine. All right, well, we've used up most of the time, and I appreciate everybody that was here. I thank y'all for giving me a chance to explain myself, and just know that everything is good with Willard Enterprises, and I can't wait for this to take place. I don't know if we've got another week or two or a month or two or a year or two. I have no clue. It looks good, but like I said, we just don't know. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. You know, we've been waiting a long time. A lot of you been in this a lot longer than I have. So you know, that own dinar. So it's a waiting game, you know, and we're all praying for the same result. So we'll be ready when it gets here. So until then, you can help other people. You know, let them know that we exist, and if they see it and want that same opportunity to get ahead, I think this is going to be so life-changing for so many people. And the people that I know that have, I know people that have 100 million dinar. I know people that have over 20 million dinar, and these people are going to do so much good, and that's what we're responsible for. I think a lot is happening in this world, and it's time for us to make the change. And we're going to make a positive impact on other people's lives. So if you want friends or family that are not already in it and they can see the benefit, get them in here. I just want as many blessed with this as possible. That's my goal here. Yeah, just we can just go from here. So I know what I plan to do with it. And, you know, I've often thought, what would it be like to be a philanthropist? Well, I'm about to find out. So it's all good. God is good, and we'll wait and see when his timing is right. Or his timing is always right, but we'll see when he decides it's time. So everybody, thank you for participating in this. I'm sorry if it was a little wacky. This is my first time trying to do this, and we'll improve each time from here. And I may try to do these once a week, once every couple of weeks. And I think we'll have a lot more questions as this grows in knowledge. That a lot of people may not be aware we're doing it, but we'll take it one step at a time. Until then, everybody, I just want to say thank you for trusting in me. It's a incredible responsibility, and I respect everything that y'all are doing and want to do, and just know that I'm going to do everything the way I truly believe is the right way to do it. And you're welcome to ask me anything, anytime. I'll be very, very open with you. I'm even trying to figure out a way to share. I just printed this out from my broker. It's every transaction that we've had with them. And this is how I knew that they still had 56,000 that they hadn't applied to our account yet. This only goes up through the 23rd, which I've sent 3 other wires since then. So yeah, maybe I give too much information, but I'd rather give too much than too little and make you sit back and wonder what I'm doing. So with that, I bid everybody a great Saturday. Happy New Year. And this is our year, folks. This is our year. I love y'all, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.